Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm reading.
Okay, now, read chapter 2, verse 25.
Pročitat ćemo drugo poglavlje
This is
Postanka,
the end.
25. redak.
This is the end of chapter 2, where God has made the man and the woman, and the man and the woman are there in the garden, and God has given them their instructions and so on.
Znači, to je onaj dio gdje im je Bog dao upute i sve to. Znači, 25. redak kaže, a bijahu oboje goli, čovjek i njegova žena, ali ne osjećahu stida.
Okay, now, the man and the woman are in the garden, and it says they are naked.
Dakle, muškarac i žena u vrtu, Biblija kaže, goli su.
But they feel no shame. That's important.
Ali ne osjećaju stida.
What is Adam and Eve's relationship like at this part of the
Kakav je
story?
odnos Adama i Eve u ovom dijelu priče?
Being naked is not about sex.
Biti gol nije vezano uz seks.
Being naked here is a symbol of something. What is it a symbol of?
Biti gol ovdje je simbol nečega. Symbol of having nothing between you and God.
Yeah, nothing between, nothing separating, no separation.
Dakle, nema nikakve odvojenosti, nema nikakvih prepreka između njih.
Nothing hidden.
Nema ništa skriveno.
No fear, no rivalry.
Nema straha, nema suparništva.
Does that make sense?
Ima li nam to smisla?
Nakedness is a symbol that has two opposite meanings.
Nagost je simbol koji ima dva suprotna značenja.
It can mean what we just said, innocence, honesty,
Ona
no
označava
separation.
nevinost, iskrenost, neskrivanje ničega.
But it can also mean vulnerable, open to attack.
Ali također može značiti ranjiv, podložan napadu.
And here the fact that the writer tells us they felt no shame tells us that this is the first meaning.
I time što pisac ovdje piše da nisu osjećali stid, to je to prvo značenje.
Because there's no fear,
Jer nema straha.
there's no rivalry, there's no anger, there's no struggle for who's going to lead.
Nema nekakve borbe ko će voditi.
There's nothing hidden.
Nema ništa skriveno.
They're completely intimate and open with each other.
Potpuno su intimni i otvoreni jedni prema drugima.
And they are completely intimate and open with God.
I potpuno su otvoreni prema Bogu.
They're not hiding from God at all.
Uopće se ne skrivaju od Boga.
That won't last.
Ali to neće dugo trajati.
Here is sin coming into the world with all of its effects.
Evo grijeha koji ulazi u svijet sa svim svojim utjecajima.
Now, the first thing it tells us is it tells us there's a serpent in the garden.
Prvo što nam kaže je da u vrtu postoji zmija.
Where did the serpent come from?
Odakle je došla zmija? God created it.
God created him. God made him.
Bog je očigledno stvorio.
And we talked last week for a minute, I think, about the fact that God creates us, but even though everything God creates is good, there's still the potential there.
I prošli put smo razgovarali, iako je Bog nešto stvorio, nešto ima potencijal za dobro ili loše.
There's always the potential there for things to go wrong and for people to make the wrong
Znači,
choices.
uvijek postoji mogućnost da ljudi naprave pogrešnu odluku.
And the serpent is making wrong choices. God has created it, it's making wrong choices.
Znači, u ovom slučaju zmija je ta koja je učinila pogrešnu odluku. Bog je stvorio, ona je krenula pogrešno.
In chapter 3, verse 1, the adjective that is applied to the serpent is that the serpent is crafty or shrewd.
U prvom retku kaže da je zmija bila lukava.
And that's the opposite idea from chapter 2, verse 25 of naked being innocent.
A biti lukav je sušta suprotnost od ovog 25. retka drugog poglavlja kada je neko gol, kada je nevin.
Here is a corrupter coming into the story.
Znači, ovdje je kvaritelj, iskvaritelj ulazi u svijet.
Notice how the serpent tempts them.
Pogledajte način na koji ih zmija kuša.
Everything he says is kind of true.
Sve što kaže je donekle istina.
He says, you're not going to die.
Dakle, ima nećete umreti.
And they don't immediately die.
I istina je, nisu odmah umrli.
Which is kind of what you might expect when you first read the story.
A to biste možda i očekivali kada ste prvi put čitali priču, mislili bi, ok, pojeli su i umreće.
He says, you're going to be like God because you'll know good and evil.
Rekla im je, bit ćete poput Boga, jer ćete poznavati dobro i zlo.
And they do become like God in this other way by experiencing what good and evil are.
I oni zbilja postanu na taj način kao Bog jer steknu iskustvo šta znači dobro i zlo.
They have a different knowledge than they had before.
Sad su saznali nešto što prije nisu znali.
What is the serpent trying to get them to do? Go beyond just he's trying to get them to eat the fruit or he's trying to get them to rebel against God.
Što zmija pokušava učiniti? Koja je njezina svrha ovdje?
What's the heart of what he's trying to get them to
Što
do?
je srž onoga što zmija želi učiniti? The serpent wants to destroy the unity between God and man.
He wants to destroy their relationship. What were you saying, Steve? That's a good answer. What were you saying, Steve?
I think his main task was to get them to take matters into their own hands.
Pokušava ih dobiti da preuzmu stvari u svoje ruke.
It's the lie of Satan that he still uses today is you can't trust God. He's holding something good back from you.
Yes.
You got to see that for yourself.
To je ona ista stvar koju Sotona koristi i dan danas, a to je Bog drži ono najbolje za sebe. Ti moraš uzeti stvar u svoje ruke da bi dobio ono najbolje za sebe.
Yeah, that is certainly something I see here. That's really what I was kind of aiming for.
To je apsolutno ono što vidimo da to je.
Is Satan is telling them,
Sotona im govori,
you can't trust God because God is holding out on you.
Ne možete vjerovati Bogu jer Bog suzdržava nešto od vas.
If God really wanted to be good to you, he would have given you this other stuff too.
Da je Bog zbilja dobar, onda bi vam dao i te druge stvari.
You can't trust God because God didn't give you everything.
Ne možete vjerovati Bogu jer vam Bog nije dao sve.
So, since God didn't give you this thing that you want, why don't you get it for yourself?
I ako ti Bog nije dao to što ti zaslužuješ, uzmi si sam.
Right, this is important, and this is a pattern in Genesis.
Ovo je bitno i ovo je jedan obrazac koji se ponavlja kroz postanak.
Multiple times in Genesis.
Više puta u knjizi postanka.
You have people in the story that God has promised something to.
Imate ljude u priči kojima je Bog nešto obećao.
Or God has provided something for them, but it's not quite what they think they need.
Ili kojima je Bog nešto dao, ali nije ono što oni trebaju.
And so instead of trusting God to give it to them, what do they do?
I umjesto da vjeruju da će im Bog dati sve što trebaju, što oni čine?
They go out and get it for themselves.
Uzimaju stvari u svoje ruke.
Can anybody think of other examples from Genesis?
Imate li druge primjere iz postanka?
Cain and Abel.
Kain i Abel.
Okay. Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. Other examples? Whichever one is, which one was Isaac's wife? Rachel or Rebecca? It starts with an R, but all the women in Genesis start with R's. What? Not Rachel. Well, Rachel and Leah is a different story than what I was thinking of. But God promised Rebecca. God promised Rebecca that Jacob would rule over his older brother.
Kada je Rebeki obećano da će Jakov vladati nad svojim starijim bratom.
Did she wait for God to make that happen, or did she engineer it herself?
Je li ona čekala da Bog to napravi ili je ona uzela stvari u svoje ruke i riješila da tako bude?
All of the struggle between Rachel and Leah, the two sisters.
Sva ta bitka između to rivalstvo između Rahele i Leje.
This is a pattern. It's a consistent pattern throughout the book of
To je
Genesis.
obrazac koji se ponavlja kroz cijeli postanak.
And it tells us something about how Satan tempts us.
I to nam govori o načinu na koji nas Sotona kuša.
Satan tempts us by telling us you can't trust God with that.
Kuša nas na način da nam kaže to ne možeš prepustiti Bogu.
This thing that you want, this thing that you think you need.
To što želiš, to što trebaš.
You can't trust God with it, because if you trust God with it, he may not come through.
Ne možeš vjerovati Bogu, jer ako se pouzdaš samo u Boga, možda ti se to nikad neće ostvariti.
So why don't you compromise? And why don't you do this dishonest thing to protect yourself?
Zato napravi kompromis, napravi nešto što nije pošteno, ali koristi tebi.
Because you never know if God's really going to come through.
Jer ne znaš hoće li Bog izvesti onako kako ti želiš.
And this was one of the
Digni malo više. I think he has a hand.
Yeah, I know. One more thing, and I'll get to you. And this is one of the chief temptations that Israel faced throughout the Old Testament.
I ovo je jedna od glavnih kušnji koje Izrael ima kroz cijeli Stari Zavet.
Israel is an agricultural economy.
Izrael je poljoprivredna nacija.
With no major rivers to irrigate crops in Israel.
Koja nema neke velike rijeke koje navodnjavaju Izrael.
So if the weather doesn't cooperate, what happens to an agricultural society?
I ako vrijeme nije povoljno, što se dešava sa poljoprivredom?
They go broke.
Propadaju.
They starve.
Gladuju.
And all of the Canaanite tribes around them worship their Baals, their little storm god idols.
I svi narodi kanaanski oko njih štuju svoje male bogove, balove.
So what's the temptation always for Israel?
I kakva je, dakle, balovi su vladali nad vremenom. I koja je onda kušnja za Izrael?
Well, God promised he would take care of you.
Bog je obećao da će se pobrinuti za tebe.
But he might not do it. He might not come through.
Ali možda neće.
So you better sacrifice to these other gods.
Pa ajde barem prinesi žrtvu tom Bogu Balu koji se brine o vremenu, pa poduzmi nešto.
Ivan.
Just a question about the snake.
Pitanje o zmiji.
Interesting is that when God warned Adam and Eve about the tree, that he didn't warn them about snake.
Zanimljivo je da kada je Bog upozorio Adama i Evu da ne jedu sa drva, nije ih ništa upozorio o zmiji.
Yeah, or he didn't kill the snake.
Ili zašto nije ubio zmiju.
Yeah, anyway.
There is an evil snake around.
Yeah.
Nije im rekao, pazite, tu je jedna lukava zmija oko vas.
Yeah, and the snake has always been identified with Satan.
Why did that kill?
Yeah.
Because he gave it a choice.
Yeah. But he didn't kill it, he punished it. He punished all of them.
On nije zmiju kaznio, on zmiju nije ubio, nego je kaznio. I have a question.
Yeah.
So we say that the images, that they were innocent, they were like little children, they didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a little child who's innocent, who doesn't know, how do you expect it? How do you expect it to obey?
Yeah.
Why didn't he let him have this one mistake and say, now you see what happened?
Yeah.
Yellow
Learn.
card.
Yeah, the yellow card.
Znači, moje pitanje je, ako je primjer da su Adam i Eva bili nevini, da nisu ništa znali, da nisu poznavali dobro i zlo uopće, kako je onda Bog mogao očekivati od njih da naprave neku odluku kad su bili kao djeca?
That's a great question. There's not a great answer to it.
I think if God had treated it that way, he would have had to go against his own nature as perfectly holy and set apart.
Kaže Steve, da je Bog prešao preko toga, onda bi išao protiv samog sebe, koji je savršeno dobro.
Yeah, we at least in the West understand God's justice would not allow that.
Mi smatramo da Božja pravda to ne bi omogućila. I iz toga dolazi ta velika potreba za Isusom.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Ivan's question is a question that you're supposed to ask.
Yeah.
Because it's the most obvious. Why don't you just kill the snake?
Ivanovo pitanje je pitanje koje se treba postaviti, jer ono je najočiglednije. Pa zašto jednostavno nisi ubio zmiju?
Which leaves us with the question throughout the whole story: what will you do with people?
Yeah.
How will you take care of them?
I to ostavlja pitanje kroz cijelu priču, a Bože, a šta ćeš na kraju učiniti sa zlom? Kako ćeš se onda riješiti zla?
Or maybe, I'm not sure I can say this, I understand. I'm not sure if I can articulate this. I know I'm out of time. I'm not sure I can articulate this. Let me try to say this.
Pokušat ću ovo reći do kraja.
Maybe God knew that the fall was coming and he already knew what he was going to do after.
Možda je Bog znao da će do pada doći. Možda je znao što će učiniti nakon njega.
And the failure was already woven into his plan.
I cijela propast je već bila utkana u njegov plan.
All right, we're going to have to stop.
Moramo stati tu, pa ćemo nastaviti idući put.
We'll pick up there next week or the week after, I think, the week after. So.
Nastavit ćemo